Hey guys, welcome back to another video on the Inside Spurs channel. Happy Wednesday evening. It is Wednesday. I have to keep double checking. Hope today's been a good one. Hope whatever you've been up to, you've enjoyed it. If you're going to the gym, make sure you're working hard. I'm watching you. Look, on this video, I always try and bring you more of the positive side of transfer news. Spurs want this guy, Spurs are selling that guy. But it's also really important to bring in the news where Spurs have been interested in some guys. Some of us or others of us are very keen on certain guys, but it may not happen. And I want to start basically trying to be a little bit more like that. So we do have a report on Jota and the fact Spurs are not near the top of the list and are not actively pursuing him. So we do have that. We do have some comments from the Hadjuk split manager around Ivan Perisic, as well as a report on Sergio Reguilón and the Borussia Dortmund interests. So plenty to talk about, plenty to get into. Just want to say, if you're new, subscribe. You're very much welcome to join us on the journey. And let's jump in with the exclusive Team Talk report. And it says that Team Talk can reveal that Tottenham are not currently pursuing a deal for Al-Ittihad winger Jota. For the former Celtic man is available for cut price fee this month, with several top clubs interested. So we know we need a defender, a midfielder, and an attacker. So we know that off the bat straight away, right? We know it looks like Dragusin is the guy for the centre-half area. So that's one of the three areas, tick. There you go. It looks like defender's him. Midfielder, that one seems to be really up in the air, because I do, in my next video, have a report on the midfielder situation. But the attacker, to be honest, I kind of just think it's Jota or Samuel Illing Jr. from Juventus. So the fact it's not Jota makes me think a few things. Cut price deal. I wonder how cut price it truly is. I mean, they signed him for 25 mil. He's on about 150 grand a week for a guy who, was good in the SPL. But when you're playing for the best team in the SPL with a manager who was fantastic in SPL, you should be good. I think that's a given. He's not done it in the Saudi League, which is always a little bit of a worry. And by the way, I'm not saying he's a bad player. I think a lot of people misconstrued my scepticism with Jota as me thinking he's not a good footballer. He obviously is. And I don't see him or Samuel Illing Jr. lighting the world alight. Now, they have the potential to do that in the future, but I don't see them coming in and lighting it up straight away. For me, I've always been pretty on it. Johan Bakayoko from PSV, that's the guy that I truly want for that sort of winger area. So I'm not digging anyone out or having favouritism towards a certain player. So is the cut price deal still too expensive for Daniel Levy? He might have been told, look, he's cut price, but we're not loaning him, we're selling him. And Levy might look at that and go, God, I was hoping to maybe get a bit of an easier deal there. Because obviously, as much as Saudi Arabia have, trillions or however much that they basically have untapped wealth, right? They've set aside a certain amount of money to last to 2030 for footballing operations, transfers, things like that. And I think I remember reading that most of the clubs have pretty much tapped out their transfer budget already for the season. So for them to move off Jota, it's because they want the money to then move on to someone else. And I don't see them wanting to do a loan deal, to be honest. I don't think they really care for loan deals. I don't think they really even care for, that sort of thing. Whereas, lots of clubs in Europe do, because they have to work with more financial fair play rulings. And I think Spurs probably want to get a guy with a loan or an option to buy sort of thing. Maybe have a look at it in the summer for the attacker. I've just got a bit of a sneaky feeling. And I think they probably weren't going to do that. Whereas you might do that. You might get that from Illing Jr. I think they also want to use some funds that they're going to get from, maybe moving off Højbjerg to move towards another midfielder to replace them. So I think attacker will be the one area that I wouldn't say cheap, but I think they're going to get really creative on. So that being the case, it may not be Jota. Let's talk Ivan Perisic and Hadjuk split sporting director Mindaugas Nikolicius. What a name. I love the good name. Said that Ivan is hurt, it's too early. We have to see when he will recover, when he'll be able to run around and play. The transfer window here lasts until the middle of February, and that is an advantage for us. there is dialogue with Tottenham and we'll make the best decision for everyone. I do see him going, to be honest, because I think Spurs might say, look, Ivan, I'm going to send you over there. I don't think they'd like rip up his contract or anything like that. They'd probably pay him. They'd probably pay a big chunk of his wages, so that he still earns the money that he deserves, through his contract. But Hadjuk pick up like a little bit more, and they get him on like a 2.5 year deal. And then as soon as that half finishes in the summer, where his contract at Spurs finishes, he moves on to his new deal. I can see that maybe being a, look, guys, can you afford to pay 20 grand a week to Perisic? We'll let him come to you and we'll pay the rest. I can see that being the case, because at the end of the day, he's on a lot of money. He's on about 180 odd grand a week. And if you're saving, let's say 20 grand a week or whatever they can afford, it is a little bit, helps. But also it frees up that spot for someone else to come into it. And it doesn't have to be anyone crazy. It can just be someone that you want to fit into there, There is that potential. Just saying. And let's finish off with Sergio Reguilón. So, look, we know Reguilón is now a Spurs player officially again. But we kind of sense and know that Ange is not going to be using him. And he can't use him once, because if he uses him once, he has to be here for the next 6 months. So I think they're going to want to try and move him either with a loan with an obligation, or an option at least, worst case scenario, an obligation or a full sale of him. And they're going to want to do that in January. And it came from Ekram Kanoy, who said that Borussia Dortmund can make an offer for Sergio Reguilón if the transfer of Ian Maatsen fails. Now, this is quite a key little thing to discuss, because it does look like Jadon Sancho is going back to Dortmund, and Dortmund aren't going to be paying 300 grand a week for him. We know that. But they're going to pay a fee for the loan. They're going to pay a chunk of his wages. I wouldn't be surprised if they're paying somewhere between 75 and 100 grand a week. That's kind of the area that I think they'd be in. Ian Maatsen is a guy that Chelsea are going to want to sell. They're going to want to sell him, and they want the money straight away so they can use it to replenish the squad when it comes to the striker area, or financial fair play to ease the potential, finger pointing at them. So it may then Dortmund may look at that and go, look, well, we're not going to be able to, because they're going to want about 30 million, by the way, for Ian Maatsen. That's how much he's going to cost. So they may look at that and go, look, we've not got 30 million. And we're not going to be able to afford to pay him 100 grand a week, right? Let's just say it was that. So they might look at Reguilón and go, well, Reggie's on all right wages. And he's going to cost a third of the price. He'll suit the attacking system that we want to play. He suits the league even. It could be a bit of a punt. And, Spurs might get 7.5, 10 mil out of him. And even if it's a loan with an obligation of 10 million, I'd take that, because you're getting that chunk of money. And you might not use it this January. You might go, we're going to add that to the transfer pot for the summer. And then in the summer, when you have European football, hopefully, obviously, you never know, but if you have European football, you've got a lot more money to spend. You start to see it and you start to go, I can understand maybe why they then go big in the window of the summer and go, look, we're going to buy another 5 or 6 players. We're just going to deck out the rest of the squad to such a point that you actually look at it and go, that feels like more of an Ange squad now. Because you'd have thought last summer, this January, next summer, I think at least another January as well. So I think this one and the next, as well as the summer in between, you start to see Ange's squad. But he needed about 4 or 5 windows. And that would line up trajectory-wise and timeline-wise of where I'm talking about. But with Reguilón, the deal is a lot easier to make than Ian Maatsen, who's going to cost 3 times the amount. And as Spurs, they're not going to use him. So that, you can kind of go, let's get a deal done quite quickly. You don't want him. We do. Let's sort it out quickly. And I think Levy is starting to come around on certain players and kind of going, bite the bullet a little bit on certain players. E.g. Eric Dyer, that I talked about in a previous video. If you haven't watched, go back and watch. Do us a favour. Drop a like as well. That'd be nice. But anyway, that's the end of this video. I hope you did enjoy. Drop a like on this one as well. But I want to see in the comment section your thoughts and feelings about Sergio Reguilón, about Ivan Perisic, and obviously about Jota. I want to know your thoughts and feelings. I might ruffle a few feathers. I know. I'm ready for the backlash. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and hit the bell notification for more. But anyway, guys, that's the end of the video. And I'll see you all very, very soon. Take care, guys.